Since the 19th century, the planet's average temperature has risen 1.6 degrees. Driven largely by increased carbon dioxide and human-made emissions. Every decade, snow is decreasing. Glaciers and ice are melting. And the planet is warming. Now I know that information probably came off as extremely negative, but I want you to instead take it in and grasp it. Because with all the dangers and threats in the world, a negative approach to them can always lead to negative things. Reading an article with those statistics a couple days ago put me in a negative space. But today, I'm going to change that. Although I can't change the world, I can change my outlook on it. And although I can't fix all the big things, I can always start with the small things. In this time of uncertainty, I've been left with a great deal of time for introspection. And with this time, I did some things that I never got a chance to do before. 4 years ago, I made 4 episodes of a podcast that didn't succeed. A year ago, I was probably in my worst state mentally. It's awesome to see the growth and to see the optimistic outlook that I have now. And then if you're listening to this podcast, I can't thank you enough. Every listener is appreciated, and they should be. Because we all want to feel better, right? This is episode 5 of I Want to Feel Better with Terrance Greer. How are we doing? It's episode 5. Actually, what's funny is that I have a monitor headphones on, and I can hear every single little thing I do. So you'll probably hear it too. It sounds like I am dying with the amount I am breathing. I breathe in and out. I'm a big man. How are we doing today? It is episode 5, and I just want to say, I was going to say do. I don't want to do anything. I just want to say thank you for listening. This is incredible. This is a milestone for me because in 2016, I had a podcast. I say this about 5 or 6 times in every single episode, but it is what it is. And 4 years ago, I did 4 episodes. And actually, what's funny is none of those guests have been on this podcast yet. I'll still get them, which will be incredible. I'll still ask them if they want to be on it. But regardless, we are on episode 5. I have never done this before, and it's actually crazy. I don't know if it's a quarantine. I don't know if it's that I'm home all the time, but it is way easier to do it now. I probably have way more patience. What was that, 2016? I was 21? Jesus fucking Christ. I thought it was like 18. It's ridiculous. Time goes so fucking fast. Nobody tells you that. Actually, everybody tells you that, but just when you're young, you're like, shut the fuck up, old man. Man, I am drinking kombucha today. Sorry I'm breathing so much. Jesus. I just got excited. I got excited to do this again. And did I read Moby Dick? No. This is slowly becoming a bit. I did not read that at all. This week has been really good for me. I've gotten so many interviews lined up. I think that's how you say it, right? I've gotten so many people just ready to do this podcast, which is awesome. Because I think with the last podcast, I kind of fucked up because I just picked people I kind of knew. And now I'm going out of that range, and people that I'm not so comfortable with I've been asking, and they've been okay with it. I'm trying not to go super, I learned really quick just not to go with like big names yet because I haven't developed this podcast yet, if you know what I'm saying. But it's pretty good. I have all the way up until episode 10, I have interviews lined up. So we'll see how that goes. I'm trying to think of anything else that went on in my life this week. No, not really. I mean, I've been in an effort to save money, and I don't know if you can hear that in the background. That is my dog snoring, by the way. But in an effort to save money and, I guess, exercise, I have decided to bike to work again. Oh, fuck. I always like burp and shit when I'm on this. I don't know if it's nerves or just the fact that, like, there's pressure on me that causes me to, like, burp and drink and just do all kinds of tics. I guess that's what they're called. But, yeah, I decided to go back to work, or bike to work. I've been doing that for years. I mean, any job that's close to me, I'll bike to. Just because I like the whole aspect of it. Like, when you get to work, minus smelling like shit at work, it's pretty great. I mean, I bring a spare shirt and stuff. But there's been instances where I forgot to. And, like, I had to wear, like, a sweaty-ass shirt. That's why I used to work at Starbucks a couple years back. And one time I forgot it. And it was just, like, a sweaty-ass shirt. Like, I'm talking, like, all the way down to the bottom of my shirt. It was just filled with sweat. And I definitely smelled. And I had to fucking work in it. But we're prepared now. Terrance is prepared. Today's episode... my dog is out. Today's episode is awesome. So... Speaking of Starbucks, back in the day, I used to work with today's guest at Starbucks. And what was funny is we didn't really have a creative outlet at the time. So we didn't really relate on that basis. It was more of just like a friendship. But it's crazy, as time progressed, we kind of had the same, and we kind of talk about that in the interview. We kind of had like the same path of just, oh shit, let's try everything and let's figure out what we want to do. And essentially, he went 10 steps further. I still live in San Diego. He moved to New York and did what he wanted to do. And we kind of talk about that in the podcast. His name is Mark Wolfe. He's now a graphic designer in New York, which is fucking insane. And it's crazy to see, like, people you know succeed. And it's just a firsthand account of it. And he kind of talks about his whole journey about doing that. And it's just... I don't know, like, it's just cool to see, like, as we get older, we're starting to see people progress into their careers, and I think it's a crazy thing, like, it's just a crazy thing about life, is just people start doing what they want to do, as simple as that sounds, you know, and he kind of figured it out earlier than me. I mean, I hate to say it, but like a year ago, I talk about it in the interview, I censor a couple of people's names, just FYI, that is just pure, I don't want to be that guy that lets the cat out of the bag. So you'll see what I mean when I censor people's names. I just, like, people that are not involved with us directly anymore. I just don't want them to be in the podcast. It's kind of rude. Maybe at least later when I'm like, hopefully I want to be at Howard Stern level. You know, I want a big table and I just want to ask people terrible questions. I never, personally, I never really got into Howard Stern. I don't know. It's just had a weird energy. I think it's more so the fact that, like, if I kind of look at it in, like, a first-person point of view, like, imagine Howard Stern asking, like, you questions. Like, for me personally, that's horrifying. Because, like, I don't like confrontation. I've learned this as I gotten older. I really don't like confrontation. I kind of shut down. I'm sorry, that's my kombucha. I kind of shut down in a sense of, like, I just don't know what to say. So I think I'm using these interviews, too, to kind of learn how to talk to people in a weird way. And the first interview was great. The top, like, bar none, that was, like, the best interview to kind of, like, learn how to moderate with a lot of people. And this episode was kind of easier in the sense that I already knew Mark, so I didn't have to do too much preparation. I kind of saw his journey, and it was kind of great. Like, we had a great chemistry, I think. And the only issue I am figuring out with Zoom itself personally is learning how to not jump on people's conversations. So I do that all the time, and I feel embarrassed by it because, excuse me, like, I fucking burped again. I feel embarrassed by it in the sense of, like, I always start, like, I have a bad habit of starting sentences with I. So I'm like, I do this. Like, like that, like, kind of just yapping. So I have to figure out how to not talk over people. I guess that's the big issue here. But regardless, this is a really great interview. I'm excited. Mark was excited to do it. This guy's great. I haven't talked to him in a while. He was supposed to come down in December, and we were supposed to hang out, but I don't know what happened. You know how that stuff goes. I just didn't. We just didn't, you know. And I was supposed to go in April. I was supposed to go visit him, but coronavirus. Oh, I didn't even play the. Didn't even play the. Let me. I didn't even play my audio. Let me set it up for that. I was supposed to go visit Mark in April, or he was gonna be part of my visit. It was New York in general, and then holy shit, my fucking dog. But because of like, I'm just gonna be quiet just so you can hear how loud he's snoring. Regardless, because of setup right here, because of.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus! I'm telling you, shit is real. Shit is getting real.
Thank you, Bacardi. But this is still going on. I understand everybody's. I don't know if anybody's inside anymore. Everybody's just fucking going out. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, just kind of gave up, right? Mother's Day, we're like, fuck it. But I don't want to get too much into that. But today's guest is Mark Wolfe. We'll start that interview. I'll probably say a couple things after. I don't want to just end it like the last episode. Or maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Let's start it off. This is episode 5 of I Want to Feel Better. And this is the interview with graphic designer and my friend, Mark Wolfe. Enjoy. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
How you been? Oh, I can hear you perfectly.
Good. This is so wild.
Dude,
Yeah, is the audio good?
Yeah, of course. How you
Cool.
been? I haven't talked to you in like what, 2 years?
A while. Sure, I guess so. I went to hang out with you when I came for Christmas, but it never. I don't know.
Damn, I know
I'm
something
like
happened.
never work whenever I come.
How you been overall? I should ask.
I'm really good actually. Like I can't complain.
Mm.
Life's good. Yeah, I mean it's a weird situation, but like right now, I don't know. Life's pretty good. Pretty good.
I can tell by the haircut.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? And I will say you are a trendsetter in the fact that
Well,
you subconsciously gave me the idea to get clear glasses. You were the first.
really? And then I literally, I don't know. I woke up one day. I think it was like the beginning of this year or
Yeah.
something, and I was like over it. I was like, screw glasses. I'm getting contacts. It was like right before. No, it was like the end of last year. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I just woke up and I was like, I hate glasses, and I stopped wearing them. But I still have them.
Oh,
Where'd
that's
you
good.
get yours? Warpy?
Yeah, you already know.
Probably the same ones. Those are the ones I have. Yeah.
100%. But now I see the new glasses with like they have different frame designs for each like little eye.
Yeah.
I want to do that now. I'm trying to get funky.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I was low key on top of the glasses trend. Come on, let's go.
You were talking about everything,
Like
I will say.
I felt like I got clear glasses and then like I noticed them like that. I guess that's what it was. Like I felt them like getting saturated, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't walk out the door with these on anymore. Like it's just basic.
No, I used to think I was original, but I've accepted. I've come to terms that I'm a very mainstream person.
No, I feel like everybody is in like
Yeah,
some aspect. Like you have to you can't be original in every aspect of your life. I feel like that's too exhausting.
100%.
Like your brain's like, nah. But yeah.
No, how are you doing in New York? I should ask.
Really, really good. Really good. Yeah, I'm working still. That's pretty dope.
That's awesome. Me too.
Like actually we've been working a lot. I brought like the Mac from work home.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and so I've been working from there.
No, wait. First off, let's start off. How did you? Okay, so you're doing more so graphic design.
Yeah, so right now I'm a graphic designer at a small studio in Dumbo, Brooklyn.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, so essentially, uh, I moved to New York. Like, I don't know. I don't even remember. Like, I was thinking about it. When you asked me to come on here, I was like, when did I even move here? I don't know. It's like a blur. I feel like life's been a blur ever since I left and like came
Yeah.
here, but like in a good way. Um, but I moved here, I think 2017, I think I want to say. Um,
Holy shit.
and then like middle of 2017. And it was, I don't know. I guess what are you asking? Like, why did I do it or what was I thinking?
No, so like just tell me your story. So like we worked together at Starbucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
to
don't know. Okay, yeah, see, okay, even when I think about it, I'm like, what? I don't even know where my mind was at. But I
right?
knew what happened was, I know what happened. What happened was I was planning to go to school and like transfer from community and do the whole transfer, go to a 4 year.
Hmm.
And I was looking at art schools, design schools, because I really wanted to do industrial design. I was
Yeah.
really dead set on footwear. Um, it was because it's pretty ironic because in the very, very beginning when I graduated high school, I kind of remember like kind of thinking about art and design and like thinking like, no, like I can't, like I'm not good enough. And even
No.
now, obviously you have those thoughts.
Yeah.
And but like I would have never thought, right? And then I even like so me and my friend were driving, I remember, and then I was trying to think of like things to do, like what could I be instead of because I already like I think it was like I remember it was like the first semester of community college, and
Okay.
I thought I wanted to do computer science after high school, right?
Yeah.
Like just like any other. So what happened was I keep going back and forth, but
No, no worries. You're fine.
like I know my mom wanted me to be an engineer, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Engineer,
of
doctor,
course.
nurse, whatever. And I was like, cool, engineer would be cool, but like I'm not that smart. Like, come on. And like math was easy, but it wasn't that easy. Like once you start having to study, it's like over. Like
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
so it was my first semester of college. And then I was like taking math classes and I was like, I can't do this. I can't even do this. Like I already demoted myself from engineering to like computer science
Yeah.
and then taking like the math. I think it was honestly like pre-cal or something. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I like got by. If I go any harder than this, like this isn't fun. Like I don't want to sit. It's pretty ironic because I was like, I don't want to sit behind a computer all day. You know, that's what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Um,
Different
but
aspect. Yeah.
that's like, yeah. So, so it's actually kind of funny because so I was like, okay, I don't want to do computer science. I want to do design. Like, screw it. Like, I know I'm good at this. I know I like want to do this. So like,
Hmm.
I want to make things, create, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I kept thinking to myself, like, what do I like? I like shoes. Shoes are cool. They must pay people to design those. Like, there must be like footwear design, right? So then I
Yeah.
just started researching the F out of it, and I just started following a bunch of designers on Instagram. And then I DM'd one of them and I was like, what did you go to school for? And then that's kind of where like the everything kind of
The
started.
seed of it. Yeah. That's cool.
Designer, like crave. Yeah. And so I think since then, like for a whole year, I was like, okay, I need because the problem was I went to a private school and I went to a school that like
I
didn't
remember
have a
that.
lot of opportunities and like didn't really like I don't know. I just never thought, like, I wish I was more aware. And like, I was talking to my dad because I was like, I wish I was more aware because I feel like I would have totally wanted to go to design school in like Europe right out of high
Exactly.
school if I was
Yeah.
like smart, if I was like aware, but I wasn't. And so I honestly say the person that really made me pick design was in high school because my high school was so bad. I feel like every time I think like this timeline goes further and further because I get reminded of like things that have happened in my life that like really are impactful.
Yeah.
But like
100%.
I remember I was taking this intro to Photoshop, intro to Adobe, pretty much Creative Suite, and we learned like the very very basics of like After Effects, Illustrator, Photoshop,
Yeah.
and it was like the bare intro, right? And then I remember taking that class, and then this really old teacher, art teacher, was like, "You should look into being a graphic designer." And this is like 2000, like 14, 15. Like this, like
Shit.
never would have thought, right?
It's crazy that you can
Um,
like trace that point too.
remember that? Yeah. Like I would have never thought about it until like I start thinking about like the timeline, because I feel like my thoughts are just like buried back there, because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm thinking so much
Yeah,
that
you're
like
just unwinding it
these
all.
thoughts are like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit, oh yeah, that happened. But she was technically the first person that really like planted the seed, I guess, in my head.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because like my mom would have never, I feel like my mom just would have never let me do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she was still kind of skeptical. And so fast forward, I graduated high school. I was like, I want to be a footwear designer. And so I just started sketching because I was like,
Okay.
that was the thing. So like my college, my high school wasn't that great, right? So we didn't have arts. So I didn't have a portfolio. And I think
Yeah.
that was like the biggest thing like coming up that like really bugged me, was the fact that I didn't go to like a school that like I had a portfolio, like had an art portfolio, or I had any art classes to show. Like
Hmm.
it's almost like I had this desire, but I had nothing to show for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
No.
that's what I felt, because it was like, I know I'm good enough, or I know like, I know I want to do this, but like I never got the chance to.
Hmm.
And so like you kind of have to, and I guess it's kind of funny because it's kind of like what's made me here, because it's like I, ever since getting here, and like I still have a degree. It's like for me it's all about just creating it, because you never
Yeah.
have the opportunities. So it's like just figuring it out.
Hmm.
Um and so yeah, I didn't have a portfolio, so I was like, I need to make one. Like, so I just started sketching for like a whole year, and that's what like my Instagram was kind of. It wasn't anything. It was just like, hey, these are ideas, and like these are my practices. Like, this is me
100%.
practicing and me like just like screwing around, which is
Yeah.
really dope. I'm really really glad I did it, because it's like, yeah, I don't want to be a footwear designer anymore. Like, fast
Hmm.
forward now, and it's like, but it's not because I don't want to do footwear. It's mainly because I just want to be an overall, just a designer, like a creator, like
Yeah.
a
100%.
like I don't want to I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into being one thing, right?
Yeah. Make it super
Like,
niche.
yeah, and that's kind of why I started going towards graphic design.
Hmm.
Wasn't because I want to be on the computer, or I want to create graphic design, I guess you could say, but it's because I felt like graphic design was like the principles and like the thought process behind graphic design is kind of like the foundation for anything. I
Yeah.
truly believe like, and I've talked to like a few really good designers, and like I really believe that like if I could master graphic design and like the actual principles of graphic design, that like I could really do anything and create anything, and you really can.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like the journey I guess I'm on right now. It's just like
Yeah.
trying to get good at being a graphic designer, and then like the thinking behind it, I guess you could say, and
Yeah.
like
No.
really be able to just like come up with original ideas.
See, it's crazy in
Yeah.
the aspect of like when we both knew each other, I think we both had no idea of our creative ambitions, you know? Like who
Oh,
would have
100%.
thought?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like that it's kind of exponential in a way, where it's like every year it's like I'm discovering something even more new and learning more, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh, like if only I would have known this sooner. But like the dope part is like when you do learn and like you do get that type of information, it's like the possibilities just like are increasing. You just
Yes.
want to do everything. Yeah.
Exactly. No, 100%. I
Yeah.
wish like I started with videos, I started with like music. I feel like I did everything
Yeah.
except what I
I
really
feel like
wanted.
we're kind of similar in the way that we touch a lot of things, and
Yeah,
we it's
100%.
because we want to explore a lot. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know, like I just want to create something, and like if I
Exactly.
have
Yes.
this idea, it's like I just want to figure out how to make it.
Hmm.
Doesn't necessarily matter what medium it's in. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
this would be dope if it was this, and then just like figure it out and Google it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's where we kind of connect.
I know it's so interesting to see, like, because now you're kind of seeing. I mean, as we're rolling into our mid 20s, I feel old as shit, but also like it's crazy to see people kind of go to the paths they want to. People that kind of stay in their old path. It's a
Yeah,
trip,
and
right?
that's like the weird. like, I don't know if it sucks or like the weird part about growing up is like, no, we all don't grow up on the same
No,
together.
it took me forever
And
to learn that.
it's
Yeah.
kind of sad because it's like, I feel like I'll go back home a lot and like, I'm like, okay, like our maturity levels just aren't the same. Like, I don't know who you are. We're not the same people. Let's just like not
Mark,
do this anymore.
I didn't even
Yeah.
mature. I didn't even mature until I think was it August of last year. I think everything was terrible until then. And it was because somebody from fucking Starbucks, I'm gonna censor it out of this, but
Okay, cool.
somebody put my shit on Reddit and it went viral.
It was from Starbucks. Because
Okay,
I
so
listened to that podcast episode and I was like, who would have posted it?
yes, somebody
But
from
okay.
yes, I'll say it right now. But it's
Wait,
crazy
since you're
because
gonna cut it, say names, say names.
okay.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Sneaky. It makes sense though. Like
Right,
it doesn't make
100%.
sense, like low key shade. At the same time, it's like who else would have known about that Reddit thread? Like nobody else.
Exactly. And then
Maybe no,
no,
maybe
but
no, but like no, 100%.
yeah, and then it was crazy because like in a sense I kind of needed that because I felt like before I was just on this ego trip, man. Yeah, no, it was just crazy that that whole event kind of changed everything, like without a doubt. Well, because I read like the most negative shit I could ever hear about my art.
Yeah, but the thing about that is like I don't know. I feel like that's all tricky because it's like how do you? Because it's like I don't know. Everybody has opinions, right? Like
100%. Yeah.
I feel like I get a lot of like because I post annoying shit on Instagram, right? And like people, it's like people have straight up gone up to me in person and I'm like, why are you doing this? I'm like, why is it affecting you so much? Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, like when it comes to like things like that, it's just like people are gonna judge. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely
But
my
I
first.
could hear, I know what you're saying though. I think there's a balance,
I
like a
really
balance of
needed
like,
it. I think at that time, yeah, it was,
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
but I'm never gonna thank him for it, you know?
Yeah, that's so weird.
It was
But,
just a
like, I don't know. There's just so many questions in my head, like why? I don't know.
right. It was. I think it was out of malice. I want to say environment, like just what's going on probably in his life. I don't know. I stopped asking questions, but it was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it made me go to school. I got like foundational sketching, and then like now I'm
Yeah.
off. You know.
Yeah. Okay. See, okay. I see. I think we're also similar in that way too. And why I'm like, fuck him. Because it's like, I love to, before I take classes, before anything, I want to figure it out myself. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I, I'm not gonna go to a class and like, I'm not gonna not sketch before I go to a class about sketching. Like, I
Hmm.
want to at least attempt to figure it out first.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my approach to everything. Like, let me just try to figure this out. And then if I really, really can't figure it out, then I'm going to Google it because you get way more organic
Exactly.
results
Yeah.
when you're just winging it. Because I always think about it and I always offend myself whenever I tell people this because it's like, think about the first person that ever did this thing that I'm doing. Like,
Hmm.
they didn't have tutorials. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a crazy way to think
And
about it.
it's like if your aspiration is to be original, you don't want to approach it the same way as yada yada person.
Yeah, 100%. No, I
Yeah,
100% agree with that because like I try to keep a little bit of me in my stuff. I think that's the biggest thing with all
yeah,
artists. Yeah.
yeah. And just like I don't know, just show some effort. Like I feel like if you're waiting around for a tutorial, you're never gonna learn it.
Oh my
Like
God, right?
you know what I mean?
But it's insane. But so with your graphic design work, are you mainly working like typography? Are you working kind of people's like
Yeah. So right now I'm like a general graphic designer.
Mhm.
So we work in I guess to answer that, because graphic design, yeah, is so broad.
Yeah,
And like I feel like I'm also trying to find my niche, I guess,
putting in it?
inside
Yeah.
of this. Yeah, like where do I want to be and like
Yeah.
what aesthetic do I want to be, right? And I think right now, the job I'm at doesn't really match my aesthetic. Like it's more about I have a job and
All
it's
right.
paying the bills and
100%. Yeah.
about it. But I don't know, it's a really dope opportunity. Like it's a small studio. We
Hmm.
work mainly in branding, so we do a lot of branding. So yeah, typography. We're doing layouts, brand guidelines, stuff
Okay.
like that. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you want your career to go? Like, what's the ambition? Like, just straight up design?
Yeah, I think see, okay, yeah. I guess the goal is for me to step off the computer. Like I hate
Hmm.
being the like I don't even think I'm that good at like putting together layouts and like the whole like I feel like I'm a big picture kind of person. Like I feel
Hmm.
like I'm so good at critiques, but
Yeah.
terrible at like making it. I don't know. Just like
Exactly.
my personal like critical evaluations.
Yeah.
Um, but uh like I don't know. Definitely I think the future is definitely starting my own thing
Hmm.
with somebody because I think like at the end of the day, like you don't want to work for somebody,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
if I'm I chose to do this without a degree. I chose to just wing it. Like I might as well do my own thing. Like
Hmm.
because that's the only way I'm gonna be able to create things that I appreciate and I like have 100% control over and I'm
Yeah.
happy with.
No, see, that's
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know necessarily what it is, like what it'll fall under, whether it be like graphic design. There are a lot of studios that like when I came here too, like I created this giant list of design studios. I could send it
Hmm.
to you.
Oh, yes, please.
And it's like uh and it's honestly just to track all the design studios in New York and like kind of see what I wanted and didn't want. Like it's pretty dope because I'm really glad I made it. I technically didn't make it. I made it. Okay. I don't know.
Call it
It's
a
a weird story.
compilation, a collage, if you
Yeah.
will.
So what happened was my very first internship, the beginning of last year, before I got this job, was at this really dope studio called Dayon,
Okay.
um, and they're located in Soho. And they did a lot of work within like fashion, and yeah, mainly fashion technology. Like when I was there, we were working on projects for Louis Vuitton, Google.
Oh, shit.
Like I didn't get a lot of say because I was
Yeah.
like an intern, but like the level, like that was one of those like pinch me moments. Like I'm really doing this type of shit.
Yeah.
And it was really really dope because I didn't have like I had no experience, and um, this guy. So how I got the internship was when I first moved here. I the first person I ever met was one of my roommates. Her name was Jennifer,
Okay.
and she was a designer. And her and this other guy that hired me at Dayon, they went to school together, like in college or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And we never like they're close, but I never knew him until a year later
Yeah.
when me and Jen we moved and went to different apartments, and we were like, let's hang out, grab brunch. We grabbed
Yeah.
brunch, and then she was like, hey, my friend is hiring an intern. Do you want him to think? Do you want me to give him your name, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. Like that was like probably like the third or fourth person that said that to me. So
Hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
she's probably not that serious. It's probably like whatever. And I looked up the studio and I was like, I'm not getting this job. Like, so cool, but no, like, there's no way, right? And then she was texting me and like she was like, hey, what's your website again?
Hmm.
And I was like, oh shit, she's serious.
Yeah.
And then um, I said like, I don't know what I said. I gave it to her and then I said something and she said, oh yeah, I already like told him about you and everything. And I was like, oh
Shit.
shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is kind of serious. And then I get an interview and then he was like super cool. I was like, okay, this interview felt like it went really well, but still no way. And then I got the job. I got the internship and I was like freaking out. And I was like, that was like one of those like moments that you like feel like, oh, this is like when I've made it. And like
Oh,
this is like
shit.
the foot
Yes.
in the door that I've always waited for. but then like it all comes down to it and you're like, oh, it wasn't what I expected,
Yeah.
but it was still like a learning process, so like dope.
Yeah.
But all that to say, he's the one who gave me the start of the list. He gave me his Google Doc
Oh, okay.
with like I think it had like half the stuff that it had on now. And
Yeah.
then I started adding more studios, and then I started adding like other resources to it, like
Yeah.
my own little personal like design thing.
Ooh, I would
Yeah, and
love
it
that. Are
kind
you
of
kidding
keeps
me?
me in check. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's pretty dope. I send it to. It's a dope like. It's also dope when I'm like talking to people, because I'm be
Mhm.
like if you're talking to another designer and you're like trying to network, I could be like, oh, I can send you my list, and then you automatically get their email. So it's kind of like a
Wow.
slick, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like
That's
you're hanging
incredible.
out at a party, and then you start talking like, oh, you're a designer, I'm a designer, but
Oh,
oh, I
that's
have
what
this
I
list,
do. Here's
yeah,
my business card.
and then like yeah, but yeah, he started that list, um, and then I continued it. Um, oh, and then yeah, so that kind of helped me like going through it. I like really could look at the studios and like kind of see myself in them or not. And like when I
Hmm.
first made the list, I was like, oh, I want to work here, I want to work here, I want to work here. And like now, like not even a year later, I'm like, I really don't. Why would I want to work there? Like, what
Yeah.
is I like? Get over yourself. Like, a lot of these places are like kind of facades. Like, you have to really be careful when it comes to the studios,
Oh, I
because
mean, that's just everything creative.
everybody tries to show off on their websites and everything. Like, even I
Yeah.
do. But like everybody, they choose what to show, right? So it's like
Hmm.
they show their best projects. You get there, and like we're not actually working on cool projects like that. That only comes once a year. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. They're working on the nutrition facts, the back of a cookie.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think like as I'm living here longer and like talking to people and talking to my friends and like really narrowing down like where I want to be and like where
Yeah.
I want to go next and like what I want to create, because like there's so many possibilities. Like
Mhm.
part of me wants to go into like magazines, even though like people say print's dead,
Yeah.
but like I think
Yeah.
that a lot of these big um, companies will still be here. It's like I don't want to work there forever. I just want to learn some
Yeah.
stuff and get out.
Learn some
Like
cool
that's
stuff. Yeah.
literally, yeah. Like I don't even want. I think I'm also learning how important it is where you work too, because it's like you get to like pull things from
Yeah.
different places, and like I could really see, especially with designers now, I'll see like their resumes.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, they went here, here, here. That makes total sense looking at their aesthetic.
Oh, so
Like
you
you
can kind
can
of get an
see,
idea. Yeah.
yeah, like um, I don't, I don't know about if it's like studios, but there's groups of aesthetics in graphic design,
Hmm.
and like everybody falls under one of them at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And when you've worked at certain studios, like you can clearly see where they pull their inspiration from, what they're taking from the studios that they've worked at, and like where their brains at. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I want to do in a weird way. It's kind of like
Okay.
Frankenstein, different ways of thinking, and like
Hmm.
whatever I feel the most works and like fits
Yeah.
what I want to do. Yeah,
Okay. All right. How do you like New
that's
York?
the plan. I love it. Like even now I still think it's super overrated. I feel like every
100%.
it's
Yeah.
because it's like it's because it's New York, and like even California is overrated, right? It's
Mhm.
just because they're big cities, they're gonna be overrated.
Yeah.
But um, it, I don't love how dirty it is. But other than that, like I love it. I think like people here are dope. Like I've met so many cool people. Um, I feel like it's just the vibe here is just like more me than California. Like whenever I think about California and like the vibe it has and like the mood it puts me in is like totally different than New York.
It's
And
crazy.
like
That's what I was looking to go to, like where I was looking at that
yeah,
general area just because that's the art hub, I would say, more than the entertainment business. And
yeah,
unfortunately, I couldn't go in April due to some extraordinary reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like, how is coronavirus over there? I should ask you.
I see. Okay, everybody's been asking me, and like, I don't know. Like,
It's
I'm just
different
in
for
my
everybody,
apartment.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's because I live in Sunset Park, so it's like not. I don't live in like a. I don't live in Bushwick or like a really popular area of Brooklyn. Like,
Yeah.
I live like near warehouses and Costco. Like,
Okay.
it's pretty like excluded from a lot
Yeah.
of things. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's bad. I know it's bad, but I don't know firsthand. And like, I'm
Yeah.
inside all the time. I go to grocery shopping like twice a week.
No,
But
it's
I'm like, the thing is, like, even the grocery stores here are like not packed. Like, I'm not standing in a line. Like, Costco's crazy. Like, I'm not going to Costco. But
okay.
like Costco's disgusting. Like, I'll walk by and I'm like, the fact that you're like even attempting to go in here blows my mind. Like, why? Like, there's other grocery stores.
Yeah.
Uh, why am I gonna waste? Because literally, I swear, if you go to Costco, you're wasting like 4 hours of your day
Well, because you gotta
because you
wait
have to
in line.
wait in line. I can't even imagine the line to check out. You have to like be careful because I don't know, Costco, weird people. I don't know.
I know it's crazy to see the contrast of it though, because like in San Diego, there's like I work by the beach,
Yeah,
like, and literally there are people. There's a man who showed me a YouTube video. I don't even know this man, showing me a conspiracy video about how
yeah,
it's not real.
literally, this is a random person.
I was like, why would you do this to me? Why would you put me in a situation?
Yeah, but it's like I could make up a conspiracy about anything. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
conspiracy theories about you just go to a hospital and then
Check it
ask
out.
your conspiracy theory that like why are you I don't know. I feel like there's so many ways you could believe anything on the internet nowadays.
I mean, it's crazy to just see like I think this is like the first instance of panic in America in a while. So it's crazy to see both sides of it, like the negative and the positives.
uh, for me, it's like I've never seen like this is the worst time in terms of like headlines. Like,
Hmm.
why every other week it's like something like so stupid. Like, I feel like I'm losing hope in people every week as like a
Yes.
new headline comes out because it's like I'm like like what like I don't even know how to like put like the thought like into words because it's just like what like I don't know what to say. It's just like people are fucking stupid. I don't
it's
know.
it's insane. And then the news too, that giant hype machine. I've never seen so much
Yeah,
fear mongering.
yeah. It's kind of crazy because it's like I feel like you have Trump and then you have the media and it's just like war every single time he gets on stage. And it's like half the things he's saying aren't wrong, but then he's also wrong. So it's like, oh yeah, but no, but no, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
like you can't pick a side because both people are right and both people are wrong.
exactly.
It's like it's all what you want to believe or what you want or like how you value things. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I sometimes I'll scroll through the comments and I'll always regret it because it's like,
You get sad because you always find someone who hates exactly what you're thinking.
yeah, and it's like, but I'm always waiting for like the two smartest people in the comment section to go at it, like, because it's like, oh, you're right, but then it's like, oh, he's right too, and then it's like, but then there's no agreement, even though they both know, like, you both are smart, like, come on, like,
Yeah.
it's just like perspectives and like what you truly value and believe
Yeah.
in.
No, yeah, 100%. It's just I don't even know anymore, man. And it's crazy because like in the art world, I was taking art history classes, and I mean that's all I'm taking. Like it's and not so much like a degree. It's just more so the general knowledge I want.
uh, yeah, I wish I knew more about art history, but keep going.
Oh yeah, and it's incredible because we talk about like where art's going is the same way media is going, which is personalization. So like
Hmm.
it's weird how everything's kind of intertwining. So you just get your own experience of the world, which I think is like a crazy. concept to even like think
Yeah.
about.
To predict the future, I don't know if you're saying, but like to predict the future, you kind of just have to look in the past because
Mhm.
everything just repeats over and over
Every
again.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the plague was like, well, that's like the biggest thing. The bubonic plague. It's the same time that was like when the most art was made, just in the fact that everybody was home and people were dying and shit. So it's like sad.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem now is like just media because I feel like it's like there's a balance of like consuming it and like
Mhm.
creating it. And
Yeah,
I feel like everyone's just consuming it. So nobody's really creating. Not nobody, but like
yeah,
less than if we didn't have media, I guess you could say.
yeah. No, I feel like music stopped too with like coronavirus and stuff. I mean, 6ix9ine made
Really?
music.
Okay. I feel like there's some dope ass stuff coming
Dude,
out right
that's the
now.
number one thing I wanted to ask you. I was like, what have you been listening to?
Everything.
Because
Like,
you and me
okay,
went to a
so
Brockhampton concert before they were cool,
yeah,
Mark.
yes, before they lost a member.
Yeah, before their controversy. Apparently, everyone hates them
Yes,
now.
yes. No, not everybody. They just came out with 2 songs, by the way.
Oh, I
Really,
saw that. I
really good.
haven't listened to them yet.
Really good. Um, what am I listening to? A lot. Right now I'm listening to Tame Impala's new album. That's
Okay,
like
yeah.
recent. Um, Travis Scott. I don't know. Um,
Dude, I've been
the new
basic.
Weekend album was really good.
Oh, it was incredible. Yes.
Incredible. Yeah. Like whenever anything new comes out, I'm just like repeat, repeat, repeat. Um,
I just
honestly,
like,
I didn't hate Drake's Dark Lane demo tapes.
oh
I think
no.
he's in a
Yeah.
weird he's he's a weird guy because I feel like he's not really making anything new. He's just like
It's a
pulling out
business
old
model.
stuff. He's a business. Like he's at this point he's how much money can I make? But then again, like when you're talking about that though, like look at what Travis is doing.
It's the
And
same
like the
thing.
merch is like he might as well just be Supreme. Like with this dumb crate and stuff like on that
Yeah.
laptop. And then now he's doing like he did a video game concert. Am I tripping?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah. He was in Fortnite. That
yeah.
was 100%. That was,
Yes. And then like even Louis Vuitton is like making did you see their skin pack? They're making like
I've been watching Louis Vuitton's fashion shows. Virgil's fashion shows are crazy.
yeah.
He rented out a whole street. Well, that's like with me studying art now, like I look at fashion shows because those are just ridiculous. Like their set design.
Yeah, I would say fashion is probably where they're pushing it the most
Hmm.
because they really don't give a fuck. Like people are always gonna be like, "What is that?" So I feel like they're allowed to push it the furthest without any backlash
Yeah, hundred
because their
percent.
audience is like super open-minded.
Yeah, no, and then now the big thing is like, because I want to be an illustrator. I mean, that's like the ultimate goal. And
Yeah,
then,
how did that start? Or like
oh,
when?
yeah. So
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be. It
like
started.
have you always drawn when you were little, or you were just like, I'm
I
gonna
would
pick up a
doodle.
pencil?
So I've always doodled, but like it was really
I could
crude.
never doodle. Like I'm always jealous of doodlers because like I don't know, like I need an idea. Like I can't just
Really.
I need I
Oh,
need
see, because I'm
something
like the
in my
opposite.
head.
I just
I
can't shut
wish.
the fuck up.
I
It's like just
wish.
like a stream. I've never had like writer's block or anything.
Oh.
And then
See,
like,
I need to get started or else I can't. If I like the starting is the worst for me. Like if I could just work off people's things, like
mhm,
that's why I love collaborating because it's like just give me what you started and then I
exactly.
could like put things because then I don't know, white pages give me anxiety. Like I just don't know where to start. That's why whenever I start, especially with like a brand project, it's like I'm just like in the typefaces, like
Mhm.
just flicking through all of them just to see what vibe like pops out at me.
Yeah,
But
and then I always have like like it's movie scenes to me. That's how I always saw it. Like I've always generally saw stuff as like I take it the inspiration from movies. Like I always love like a shot or like a moment,
uh
and then I kind of build
see,
from that.
movies don't speak to me as like much as like a lot of
Oh,
people
oh, well, because I grew up with
do,
it.
I
Like I didn't go to
guess.
school, or like I didn't really care about school. Like my grandparents used to. My grandpa used to go to like Circuit City every day, and he'd buy a DVD every Tuesday, and that was like
What?
the day like a new movie would come out. So we'd watch a new movie like every Tuesday,
You
and like
guys were like a movie family.
100%. Yeah.
We weren't. I don't think I was. Yeah, no, I wasn't. I
So that
was
was
like
the
a computer
basis.
kid.
Really?
Like,
See, I don't
yeah,
like
it's
computers.
like one of those stereotypical.
You should have
Like,
seen me. I got an iPad, and when I first got Procreate, like the learning curve for me to learn how to draw on an iPad was horrendous. But now I'm starting to
damn,
get it. But
dude, like, okay, I would say, I want to say I taught myself how to properly, not properly draw, but I got good at drawing on my iPad,
it's incredible.
but
Like now I see
not on piece of paper.
you don't have to carry a sketchbook. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like that's like the
I
biggest
knew
thing.
I knew it was bad when I was actually drawing once and I
Hmm.
tapped to undo
I
on
do
the
this
piece
all
of
the
paper.
time. I literally do that like all the
Uh,
time.
that was like the first like, oh shit, like I'm broken
I was, I was
moment.
I was trying to do a painting the other day, and I was like, I can't
Undo,
undo it.
undo.
I
Yeah.
ruined it. No, but it's crazy. But no, yeah. And then I wanted to start with painting, but it just takes too much time. I'm a very impatient person, and I
Me
think that's
too.
I have like messy lines. I think that's just a care. It's more so because I want to finish it really quick. So that's why I
Uh, you like scribbles?
yeah, I love scribbles. That's like my style, man. I love it.
I like that too because it's like I'm obsessed with like textures and like
Hmm.
I don't know different things that like you could see but almost feel.
I like it because it's
Like you get
organic.
a
Yeah,
feeling when you look at it. Like you could imagine how it might feel if you touched it.
exactly. No,
Like
like when I see you
that's
draw
what I
too,
like.
like when you used to put your because on your Instagram you used to put like the time lapse videos. It
Yeah.
was so cool to see like how you would think, and I think that's why I love sketching.
Yes, that's yes, me too. Where that like where it could I love when it's the most loose. Like it
Hmm.
doesn't feel so constricted.
Yeah,
And like it takes a while for me to get there sometimes. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, this is it. And then like I'll leave and then come back and then I'll end up like redoing the whole thing because I'm like,
exactly.
I don't like
I
it
have so
anymore.
many unfinished projects. I can say the same thing. Like it's just all over the
Yeah.
place. But yeah,
Oh,
but
my Dropbox folder's full of unfinished, like untitled 12. I don't know.
I don't even go to that point, you know, like it's just whatever the default name
I'm
is. It's
so lazy with titling things.
geez, I'm starting because I started this podcast and like I don't even want to organize. I've only had 5 episodes, or you're going to be the 5th episode, but it's 5 episodes so far. My audio files are everywhere on my Mac. I don't even. I know I have
What
to organize.
do you like have a folder structure at all?
I used to. So I had a podcast in 2016, and then my computer crashed, and I just completely gave up on it. And then so like I had a whole folder
See,
system.
that's why like I know a lot of people don't trust Dropbox or like the online cloud. I love it. Like
I love cloud. I just
I'll
moved to
pay
cloud. Yeah.
you all the time. Like because like once it crashes, it's all in the cloud. Like
100%. I
it's
left
more
my
reliable than a hard drive than me losing a hard drive.
I learned that when I dropped my phone, I left it on the roof and I drove off with it. And then within the next day, I had a new phone. Like nothing even happened.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was like, I mean, it was a terrible experience. God, I don't even want to relive that. I saw it on the freeway. I saw it in my rear view mirror just go, and I was like, I know exactly what that is.
But it's stuck there the whole time until you got on the freeway.
Until I hit like 75. I was very impressed with Apple.
Whoa. What case did you have?
It was an OtterBox.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, but no, it's crazy to see you. I just want to say,
Yeah. I feel like this is so surreal. Like to think about like how we met to like this right now.
dude, because I don't even talk about that place anymore. Like,
Yeah. No, like even when you started talking about like and like people there, I'm like,
mhm,
oh, that person. Like
100%.
I knew that person. That
Yeah,
person was weird.
right.
Oh yeah, that time. Yeah.
You're telling me I
Memories.
was like off the rocks, dude. I
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
job I could do whatever I want. That's dangerous, dude.
Yeah. 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 No, sometimes I miss it because it's like it was a, like you could just go to work and just like screw around. Like
Hmm.
I feel like it wasn't like there was so nobody cared. And like
Yeah.
especially when like we became shifts, it was like now I'm in charge.
Jeez. No, well, now my new job is, it's ironically in the same, well, that kind of experience got me my new job. So, like, my day job is currently, I'm a manager of a cupcake shop. Yeah,
What?
it's ridiculous. But dude,
That's hilarious.
every day I wake up, I laugh.
That's bad. Do you eat too many cupcakes?
Oh, dude.
Like, I'm imagining you because, like, you, we would make the weirdest drinks. Like, when you were talking about that story on your other podcast, I was like, oh no, is he gonna say our vanilla bean with the lemon loaf? And he did.
That's exactly what I brought up.
I was like, no way. And then now you cupcakes. That's
I had to
even
stop
worse.
myself. I had to cut it
What
off.
is the place called?
Oh
Have I heard
well,
of it?
yes, I'll censor it just because I don't want people to know. But
Yeah,
like,
sure.
yeah, and it's crazy. We have like a location by the beach, and it's insane. Like, so
Oh,
I kind of has it kind of has the feel of our old job, but it's
yeah.
also like I have to, just because I manage, I have to like lay the line down a little bit now. So
Dang.
yeah, but that job is incredible because
Mm,
like I schedule myself, so it gives me time to do whatever I want. And
that's dope. That's dope.
strangely, I still have a job right now, so I'm thankful.
Because you're giving yourself your own hours. But yeah, that's what I did like about like that type of stuff. Like, I don't know, whenever I got jobs like that, it's like they would always work with my schedules. Like, I would
Yeah,
always be able to figure out things.
I know. But now it's like it's trying to figure out, like, because illustration's not as, there's like three paths you can take in illustration, I
Yeah,
feel.
where do you want to go with that?
I'm trying to go, I think I'm going to go gallery. So I mean, like, you can go gallery, and then there's the online presence, and then there's also like commissions. A lot of people make a lot of money just doing commissions.
Yeah,
But
like here, probably. Like, I think here a lot of, if you're an illustrator, you're like, you just hope for like a New York Times. You know what I mean?
100%,
Like,
yeah.
it's stuff like that. And there's so many places that will commission illustrators. Like,
Yeah.
my job right now, we have an illustrator. She's technically a graphic designer. She does design too.
Hmm.
Um, but she's a dope illustrator. Um, she's so good.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. It's just trying to get into I'm starting to, like, right before this whole coronavirus thing happened, I was just starting to get into the art scene of San Diego, and I was like, oh dang, it's like the South Bay Chula Vista is like the underground. It's insane. Like,
Yeah, I don't even know how to. I think about it too. Like, here, it's like there's no, like, I don't know if there's underground. Like, I feel like everything's just, you know about it, or like
mhm.
once you get into that world, it's like you just know about it. I don't know if it's, maybe it's the same in San Diego, but I don't know. It just feels different in New York. Like, everything feels closer and like
Oh,
less. I guess less. Like, whenever I would go to, not necessarily art, but just like organized events in San Diego, it felt less inclusive
yeah,
than it does when I go to events in New York. I don't know. Maybe my mind is just weird.
there's definitely like a new surge of like actual, like, legitimate art places, like art houses, and it's like it's coming out of Chula Vista. I mean, there's one in like on El Cajon Boulevard called Swish Projects. I think you would love that one. I definitely
Which
recommend you checking that out.
sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, and then that's definitely the one you would like. But and then there's like damn, I'm trying to figure out. There's a whole bunch, but it feels like it was just starting to like build. It was insane, and then coronavirus hit. Now we're at home.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. Okay, so timing wise, like, it kind of came at a perfect. I think like ever since I moved here, like, timelines have just like worked for me. Like,
That's incredible.
whenever things would happen, it was like, dang, this happened at the perfect time. Um, like, when I moved here, I just moved out of my last apartment.
Hmm.
Like, literally the weeks the weeks coming up to the quarantine, like the stay at home
Really?
order. Yeah. Like, I think right before the week during that I moved to this apartment for my last one. Um, I remember me and my friend were gonna go to like a very heavily Asian area, and then she texted me, and she goes, like, it wasn't Chinatown, it was like this other area, um, and she goes, "Oh, my friends are saying we shouldn't go," and I'm like, "Screw them! Like, it's not that bad. Like, one, like, it's just as bad. Like, we're going on the subway; it's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why people were so scared of like the Chinese areas. Like, I don't know. It was just like
It was
so
just fear, misinformation. Yeah,
like they don't have it. They have it just as much as we might have it. But
100%.
that week we were like, oh, should we even go? And I was like, screw it. Why? Like, let's go. And that was like when everybody was like, oh, it's not that serious anyways.
Hmm.
Um, and then I moved, and then yeah, everything just started shutting down.
God
And I was
damn.
like, oh shit, I better start buying groceries. And like, and like ever since the quarantine, I've just been on like low key a shopping spree because it's been like, but it's like, one, it's like I'm locked in the house all day. What else am I gonna do?
Mhm.
Two, I'm trying to furnish the place and like buy stuff. I don't know. Like,
I bought
I,
two pairs of Adidas Superstars at the same time. I was like, I
I've
need.
not bought shoes. I lied. I bought one, but
What are your
but
new shoes? What are your shoes you're wearing right now? What's the
I'm
look?
honestly just wearing like basic Reeboks right now.
Mm-hmm. It's the
Because they're
classic
just
look, yeah.
classic. They're classic, really easy to wear. I'm like obsessed with like white shoes. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
like
I
I'm
just
starting
got
to
into
get
white
rid.
shoes. Yeah.
I'm starting to get rid of all my shoes and just have like my white shoes, like my white Converse, my white Vans, my white Reeboks, and like just like because they go with everything. And
Yeah.
like I'm tired of like whenever I put on a colored shoe, I'm like I look like a clown. Like I hate how bright everything is.
Oh, I regretted it the moment I bought colored Vans, and I also want to add they're platformed, so they're an inch taller.
Why'd you get platforms?
Because they were okay. Because they were. I didn't know that Vans were like unisex, and so
Yeah,
I was like, okay, let me get size 13. Let's see if they have them, and they have them, and they're huge. And I was like, I can't wear these
I
in public.
mean,
I can't.
yeah. What are they? Authentic?
No, so they're like a special. I believe they're
That's
authentics, but
fun.
they have a platform and then just little ridges. So it kind of looks like Rihanna's Pumas almost.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think I don't know. I'm not sure. I might know what you're talking about. But yeah.
but yeah, so it made me like 6'4", and then I'm like walking around with these giant.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, so those are in the back of the closet. Now I'm going like all white superstars, classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause no, I actually worked at Vans for a
Hmm.
while. Like the very first year I was here,
Yeah.
and I bought way too many shoes.
Oh, Jesus,
So
I
now
can
I'm trying to
imagine.
get rid of them.
Jeez.
I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this one. I shouldn't have bought this. There's a lot of shoes in my closet that are unworn.
No, now
Still
and it's
today.
like now with my clothes too. My friend has a clothing company, and he's managed to make, just because he's been so successful, he's managed to make every single article of clothing you can think of. And I've just been
Oh
buying from
my
him for the
god.
past 5 years. And like literally all my clothing is his clothing. Like that's all I wear.
That's pretty funny. I'm kind of in that like I'm trying to shift my wardrobe towards like basics
Hmm.
where everything feels just like I'm not trying too hard. It's just like basics. I don't
Yeah.
know. Just because I feel like I'm over it. Like I wish I could just wear one thing over and over again.
Right.
Like
If I could, if
I
it was
love
clean.
creating stuff, but I don't want to be wearing it in
Oh
a
yeah,
weird way.
100%.
Like I'd say 99% of the things that I think of or want to create are not stuff I would wear. It's just stuff that
Hmm.
I think is cool and like makes sense and like works.
Yeah.
And,
No, that's
and like
a
I could see the customer. Like I feel like when I make like products, it's like I see the customer,
yeah.
not the product.
And that's a fair assessment. Well, especially with clothing. Are you making clothing?
Yeah. No, it's just when I think of ideas or designs, I'm like, this person would buy this. I mean, like eventually I would want to, or like
Oh, that's awesome.
dabble in
Yeah.
it, but it's just like money, time, resources. But like that's for me, it's like that's what's kind of dope about graphic design is like you get to work with these type of industries, and
So
like
cool. Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's like if say a furniture brand wanted a new redesign, you can work with them, right, with their brand, which you don't get to design furniture, but I feel like it's I don't know, it's the same kind of desire where you get to kind of create based on their ideas and like create off
Yeah.
of their kind of thinking and like translate what they're thinking. It's kind of fun.
That's really cool. I mean, you're definitely one of my friends who've at least achieved what they wanted to. I mean, fairly quickly, I might add.
Yeah, I am kind of proud of myself in that aspect of like how quickly I did it. Because like even now I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Like sometimes it's happened so quickly that I have to like sometimes slow down like a lot of
Hmm.
the times because I feel like I'm going so quickly that I'm like, okay, I need to backtrack and like actually take time to do this correctly
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm not doing it justice. Um, but yeah, I like my plan when I moved here was for everything that I have now. It's like I didn't expect to have like 5 years down the road. And like even when I came here, I was like, my plan is to crash and burn. Like I'm not planning to succeed anytime soon. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna deal with that, right?
Yeah.
And then when I got like the internship, I was like, okay, this isn't happening. Whoa. And then like things just started happening, and I was like, damn, like this is what New York would do. Like I don't know if it's like this combination of like there's this combination of New York because I don't think I could have done it in any other city.
Yeah.
And then in addition to me kind of saying like F it and like not having anything to fall back on.
Dude, that's the
Like,
way to do it, man. That's 100%.
yeah, like if I was still living with my parents, I could have never achieved anything because it's like they would be asking too many questions and I would just be like, I don't know, like I'm just making things, let me have fun. But then there's
Yeah.
like part of me that's like wishes I had like a safety net, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
then you could kind of create more. But I feel like you also need to like get to a certain point, you need to not have a safety net at some point in your life
Yeah. And you just got to drop off. No,
to
100%.
kind of prove to yourself. Like that was the biggest thing. It's like proving to myself I could do it. Because
Yeah.
like I feel like even now, like the biggest thing is like confidence. And I think like if you're confident in what you're doing, it means you believe in it and it means you're gonna be successful. Because like if you're confident in it, like you have the desire to get better.
Yeah.
Life's not that short. Like you're gonna figure it out eventually. Just keep doing it.
Exactly. You
Like
easily meet the people. I mean, I worked like when I was 18. It's crazy. Like just the fact that I got into LA's like entertainment business fairly quickly too. But
yeah.
then and then now overall I kind of realized that's just not what I wanted to do. And I mean, or
Mm-hmm.
I came back to San Diego, worked at Starbucks, the whole thing. And then now I'm pivoting into the art world, and it's kind of crazy to see that fairly quickly. I mean, if you do your research, if you like, that's what I did.
Yeah. Just do the bare minimum and you'll know.
Mhm. And you'll meet
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah.
You'll meet somebody and then talk to them and then you're gonna be like, okay, this wasn't for me. Or you're
Actually,
gonna meet somebody and then be like, oh shit, like this is what I've been looking for.
no, I used to have a music studio. So we had a music studio in Chula Vista, and I shit you not, across the street was like a brand new art gallery called Weird Hues. And I was like, and we just like, I was like, I saw an address for like a new show, and I was like, okay, like I told my friend Ariana, I was like, let's go check that show out. And they were like across the street, and they were just working on stuff, and we just got to go see it by ourselves. And we're like, you guys are like across the street from us. This is ridiculous. And then that's how I kind of got into like
That's
the little art pivot.
cool.
Yeah, no, it was. I was like, who would have thought? Like in Chula Vista, these two like
Yeah.
artistic
Yeah.
journeys.
Yeah. Whenever I think about design in San Diego, I'm always like there's nothing there.
You'd be
But
designing Eastlake homes.
there's everywhere, but you just have to look for it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's why, because I'm looking eventually. I mean, once this is over, I'm looking to move to another city. I'd like to, just because I don't,
Yeah.
San
Like
Diego's
life's
seems not
short.
what I want. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
So I've been looking
go.
at Portland,
Yeah. Portland's dope.
maybe more New York though than anything. I think that's
I
the,
went to Portland last year for my birthday just for fun,
yeah.
just to treat myself.
Oh, uh-oh.
And like the vibe was like felt very San Diego esque in my opinion.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but on with seasons and trees. But it's like the same vibe. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Hmm.
Not the same, obviously, but like similar. It's like slow.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'm just addicted to like this New York speed, but like even when I come back to San Diego, I'll enjoy it for a while, but then I'm like, get me out of here. Like it's too slow. Like I feel like I'm on a vacation that I shouldn't be on. I don't know.
And I think I will like the pace of like New York, and especially just because they're more art centric and personality
I feel
centric.
like you gotta try it once in your life. Just like F it and do it. I
I
don't know.
mean, fuck it, Mark. I'll be out there. Just let
Yeah, just let me know. Let me
just
know.
let me get coronavirus really quick. Let me clear out the system.
Actually, I'm honestly like it's kind of cool to think like I feel like I'm all alone in New York sometimes. That
Yeah,
it's like nobody I know. Like I met a lot of cool people here, but still I don't feel like I have like a lot of really tight friendships. Like
yeah.
enough to feel like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but like
No, I totally get
sometimes
that.
it's cool because I feel like I'm like by myself on this New York island
That's really
in a
cool.
cool way. That I get to do whatever I want and nobody's judging me, and I'm like, yeah,
There we go. Middle finger up. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
Like whenever I'm in San Diego, it's like I feel like I don't know if it's because I lived there for so long, but it's like I feel like I can't do anything. It's like I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I get that 100%. I'm at that end. And it's crazy because, like, in the sense of, I've always found my biggest weakness is I'll start something and I'll never finish it through. And
Same,
I think
same.
only recently I was like, okay, let's, like, you can't shut the fuck
Discipline.
up, Terrance. Like, start your podcast. Like, that's clearly an outlet for you. And then, like, do your illustration. Let's
Yeah.
just see where it goes, you know?
I feel like it's natural and it's perfect for you because I feel like you have like
Thank you.
a radio voice. I don't know why. Like you remind me of like I feel like if you when you master this, it's gonna be like 99% invisible. You know, Roman Mars. Like you have like a Roman Mars type of voice.
Oh, thank
If
you. I
you like
appreciate that.
master it, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
feel like
keep going. I like it.
you could do some ASMR or something.
I did listen. I have noise canceling headphones and I listened to my voice in it when I was editing. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is like a very low decibel.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
no,
interesting.
because I feel like you don't really get a lot of that necessarily. It is
Hmm.
a weird way, like that type of voice.
Oh,
I mean, you
thank you.
do,
Jeez, that's flattering.
but like, no, it's because like there are like it's like almost like music where it's like there's a sound, right? Like there's
Hmm.
sounds. I feel like the equivalency for podcasts is like your voice. Like
Hmm.
I've listened to a lot of dope podcasts, but I can't stand the host's voice, and that's a big
I get
deal. You
that.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so like if you have a unique voice, like I feel like 99% Invisible, for example,
Yeah.
is popular because of his voice.
Yeah.
Mainly, it's and then the information's dope too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like 50% of it, I feel like is because of his voice.
And then
So
I
it's
feel
like,
like I've listened to podcasts too, and like it's interesting to see that no one really kind of everyone kind of takes the same kind of shticks. I've noticed they kind of go down the same routes, and I was like, I
yeah,
kind of want something in between, a little bit
yeah.
artistic, a little. I love interviews too. I've been learning a
I
lot.
do too.
Yeah.
I love casual interviews. One
Hmm.
of these dope um, guys that live in like Jersey, we might be working with them a little bit. Me and a friend.
Yeah.
Um, they're called At Your Day Radio, and it's like they talk. It's like very conversational and casual, and I just think it's like it's dope because when you listen to those type of podcasts, it's like I feel like I'm in the living room with this person. You know what I mean? Like it sets
Exactly.
a dope vibe.
Yeah, like the
Um,
first interview, yeah, last week. Geez, that was just by chance. I had like five people on. I was like, this is
yeah,
ridiculous.
I listened to that one.
Oh,
It was
thank you.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was crazy to talk to all of them, especially like one guy. Like I watched like all of his stuff, and I didn't even know that like I was talking to him about it.
that's the coolest thing though. Like I remember I've met a few designers that I followed on Instagram, like from the very beginning that I was like, I want to be a footwear designer.
Hmm.
And I've met some of them here in New York, just like casually. Like New York is such a small world. Like when you if you moved here, it's like
I'm planning it. I'm telling you, we just gotta
so
we gotta get through this thing. I'm inspired. You've inspired me.
yes, yes, that's good. I'm glad. But like when you start networking, it's like the bubble gets smaller and smaller, and you're like, oh, that person knows that person, and it's like, I don't know, like I feel like in New York, in your world, you know a lot of people, if if not everybody, especially if you like climb your way up.
Yeah, and I wanted to see like how this interviewing thing is gonna keep going. Like I still want to have like you on the podcast, like my normals, but also like it's crazy how like I've been DMing people. I won't say who they
Yeah,
are yet, but like
yeah,
I've just with Zoom, I've gotten so much like better interviews than I ever thought I would. Like,
yeah, yeah. Because even I kind of at the same time, it's like because I've been to a few design talks and
mhm.
in person, and then now they're doing them on Zoom, and I
Yeah.
love the Zoom ones way better because if it sucks, I could just turn it off. But
Yeah.
that's like not the equivalent to this. But also, it's just like I feel like I don't know if it's because we watch YouTube all day, but you
Mhm.
digest the information better when it's like on the screen. I don't know why,
No,
or
yeah,
with your
100%.
headphones in, like
Hmm.
versus you in like a room with a bunch of distractions.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the podcast with this, it's like it's such a low barrier, right? Like someone
Hmm.
doesn't need to be like, oh, like I don't want to waste this time driving somewhere and meeting up with this guy and
So
like
quick. Yeah.
recording a pod. Yeah, like this is just like, what am I wasting besides like a conversation? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
No, so like it added up pretty quick. I love it. Like it's cool. I'm glad you did it. Actually, what was funny is when you texted me, I was like, or you DM me, I was like, oh my god, I
yeah.
was literally gonna ask you. Like you were 100%. Just because
Thank you.
one thing is always I've always loved your name and I've always wanted to steal it.
I know. Whenever I make anything and I put my name on it, I'm like, Terrance would be proud.
That's your name. You don't understand. Like you could be anything with your name. Mark Wolfe. That's like an indie band. That's you could be a DJ producer. It's perfect. But
It's funny.
no, but it's good, and
I
it's
feel like
good.
your name is kind of an artsy name too. Like it works.
Yeah,
Like it
my dad wanted me to sound like a lawyer. I think that was the intention,
really.
or
It
something
does
like.
sound professional. Like it doesn't sound like weird. Like it sounds like a name, like a
Yeah.
label
Ooh, no,
almost.
thank you.
Label. Ooh.
Like, yeah, my name. My full name's Terrance Michael Greer, which I always imagine is like a lawyer or like a dentist. But it's been good, man. I mean, it's 100 degrees over here. I don't know if you can tell. I've been sweating like
Mm.
crazy. Not 100, but like it's hot over here in
It,
San Diego.
I felt like it was supposed to heat up here and then it didn't.
Really?
It got colder. Like we just in some parts there was freaking snow the other day.
That's
But
ridiculous.
yeah, right now it's not too bad. It's 55,
But I did want to ask one
41.
question. So we'll
Yeah,
probably just wrap it up just because I don't want to hold your time.
yeah, for sure.
But what is your advice? So I'd like to, I think I'm starting to do this thing like for creative people that are working actively. What is your advice for
Hmm.
someone that wants to get in the creative industry?
Um, I feel like the obvious advice is just do it, but also like
Yes.
it. I think it's like more than that because I feel like it's so easy to say just do the thing, but
Hmm.
then it's also like do it with intention because it's like I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people and like even me, it's like I'll try to do something and then you'll give up before you were even able to like be good at it,
Yeah.
and you just wasted your time at that point. So it's like
Okay.
I don't know. I would say ask yourself, do you want to do this? And then if you actually attempt to do it, follow through. Because it's like I feel like if you really, really wanted to do this, you would put the effort in.
Yeah, you
Like
go
put the
all
effort
in.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
go
But
all in.
100%. Do you have any social media that you want to put on here? Anything like
My
that?
regular social media
Is
at KRAMEFLOW. It's my name backwards.
I never even.
You
I
didn't,
didn't
dude.
even
Whenever okay, this is
know.
kind of my check for people. It's like I feel like more people than more people than not don't get it, and it's
Mhm.
kind of surprising because it's like I feel like it's just like so flat out in my opinion because my name is so
It's
short too.
it
It's
makes it
Mark Wolf,
ridiculous. I just
and
don't
it's
have
like,
that brain.
but yeah, it's my name backwards.
No, but that's perfect. And I want to thank you for doing this, by the way.
Thank you for having
We
me.
need to keep in touch because
It's dope. We will.
it's
Yeah, we
hilarious in the
should.
fact
We
that we
should.
definitely work in the same kind of realm now.
Kind of, yeah. And that's kind of why I like DM you too. Is like, it's like I feel like when I see things that my friends are making and I actually think it's good, and
Hmm.
it's almost like this, like, okay, don't give up kind of thing. Because
I
it's like
appreciate that. No,
I'm
100%.
seeing like the potential, and I'm seeing like where it could be and like how dope it is.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't know. I like to see that continue.
No, I think like thank you 100%. Like this is already great because like I'm gonna make a whole bit about it with the new podcast. Is like this is episode
Amazing.
5, so
So-
like this is way further. I gave up at episode 4 in my first podcast, so like we're already
Oh wow.
so we're breaking barriers. So that's gonna be the
Yeah,
whole
I will say you're learning a lot. Like I've listened to like a few episodes. The first one, it was like, oh, there's too much music, and then the second one, he's like, oh, he fixed it, and then it's like I feel like every podcast it's getting better.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate. No, the first one, 100%. Like I was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking delete it. It's terrible. and then I was like, no, you got to leave it for reference, just so when you look back, you can see the differences. And then
I feel like the music was fine. It was just you had it too high.
it was fucking
Like,
ridiculous.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't an ambiance anymore. It was like competing with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, it was 100% what it was. Then I was like, I didn't have a mic. Now I have a mic, and now I'm editing it and everything. So
Yeah.
that's a bigger change now. But yeah, that's about it, you know?
But yeah, we should definitely keep in touch. I feel like, I don't know, I'm really, really bad at keeping in touch with people. Just
No
'cause
worries. I know your intentions. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm like the type to be like, if you don't text me, I'm not going to text you at all. Because it's just like, I just have so many things to do. It's like, I'm not thinking like, oh, let me text this person and have like a 5-hour conversation. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like there's just so much we could catch up on. It's like,
God,
where do we
we
start?
I know we have so much in common. I'll definitely keep in touch though. I'll try to because I'm in the same exact way. Like I don't hold any grudges against anybody, and people will be like, "You didn't text me." I'm like, "Oh, what's up? Like, what's happening?"
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
in my own world.
But all right, Mark, it was great talking to you. Thank you for being on my Zoom, and I will talk to you later.
Okay. Okay. Bye. Peace.
Bye. Peace. And that is the end of episode 5. Thank you, Mark Wolfe. Thank you, Anchor. And I hope everyone has a great day.